Go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bruins Beat. This is episode 71 with your host, Jason Buckley and Joe Gill. We do not have Mike tonight. Mike had something come up, but we cannot wait to hear about his takes on this game. And, there are a lot of takeaways from this one Bruins game in Game 1 of the NHL playoffs, specifically with the way Charlie McAvoy played and the way the team played as a whole. The Bruins got a key victory tonight against Ottawa with a 2-1 win. Joe, what are your takes on this game?
Takes. You know what I take? I haven't felt like this in 3 years, so it's awesome. Tuukka Rask saved their bacon in this game. He should be the savior of pigs because he saves the bacon. He played out of his mind tonight. It was some 3-bell saves, all world saves he made tonight. So he was huge. I thought Charlie McAvoy, oh my God, for 19 years old, wow, what a game he played. I thought he looked very calm, cool, collective, played great. I actually think he should have played more than, McQuaid. I think McQuaid's a train wreck. But it was good to see Vetrano score. They needed him to score. They need some secondary scoring because, as we know, Jason, they only got really one line. And then Krejci was hurt with he must have an ingrown toenail or something. I don't know I don't remember him being hurt. I know he didn't practice. Was it yesterday, today? But I didn't hear him being hurt at the end of the regular season. So I don't know what's going up. But all I know, one thing, Jason, the Bruins are up 1-0. They needed to win a game in Ottawa. They did just that. I don't know if you caught my second period intermission broadcast on Facebook Live, but I basically said the Senators are not that good, considering the Bruins did not get a shot in the second period and they were only up 1-0. So that just tells you that they're not really a great team. The Bruins are on paper, I think, better team than they are, and I think they should win this series. So I just keep rolling. I think they weathered the storm and they played as bad as they played in the second period. They played that good in the third.
All right, well, I'm gonna break this down, Joe, because you brought up 3 really valuable points. I'm gonna start first with your key point about Tuukka Rask in that goaltending duel, because you know what? You're right. That game, if we didn't have Tuukka Rask in there, if it was like any other goaltender, should have been 6-0 Ottawa.
Yeah, I agree.
Tuukka Rask made some very key saves. He played his heart out. It's the performance we've been waiting to see for the last 3 years. It was exciting to watch. And on the other side, Craig Anderson's battle. The Bruins were doing the same exact thing. Charlie McAvoy had some good plays in there. The power plays looked good in the first period. Barring that Colin Miller injury, which was another, I think, decent setback in this game for the Bruins defense. And he tried to come back up, but he couldn't go in the third period. It's interesting to watch the way the Bruins played. They played with a lot of fire tonight. And I think that, if you're listening to Jack Edwards and Andy Berkeley, no NHL team can play that way for 82 straight games. If you look at the way the Bruins have played throughout the season, I'm sure that they haven't given their full potential, because once the playoffs hit, it's another level. And for the young guys, for these players who just got into the lineup, I thought it was fantastic. It's just been fun to watch.
So Jason, you're a little more in tune with the Providence Bruins. So say Colin Miller can't go, and Carlo and Krug are still out. Who they call up from Providence?
I need Mark Allred for that one.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, the Cross kid, is it Tommy Cross?
I've heard Tommy Cross has done quite well.
Yeah, so I don't really I'm not gonna lie. I don't follow the Providence Bruins. I barely have enough time to follow the Boston Bruins, so I'm not gonna lie. But they're getting decimated on the blue line. I mean, seeing McQuaid and Chara out there together scares me, because I think that together they're about 422 years old. So I don't like that. I like McAvoy and Chara together because just like Carlo, he kind of rejuvenates Chara a little bit.
I like McAvoy and Chara. I also like McAvoy and Kevin Miller together for a lot of that game and a lot of that first period.
I don't like John Michael Lyles with anybody. He's kind of scary. But I'll tell you right now, let's talk about the bad. Ryan Spooner is horrible. I mean, he's beyond horrible. Like that, he couldn't wrestle away. Have that. Get a stick wrestled away to root that goal. It was right in front. He's so bad. He's terrible. And my buddy was telling me, I guess it wasn't Claude talking about Spooner. I think Claude was dead on about Spooner. Spooner's terrible. I don't see him being here next year. What do you think?
I actually agree. I'm not going to go as far as saying terrible. I just think Spooner's kind of a wasted talent, kind of like Kokochev, He's put himself out there, but he hasn't really talked the talk as much as... Let me rephrase it. He talks the talk, but he doesn't walk the walk. That kind of mindset. When it comes down to it, in the end, Ryan Spooner's not what he cracked up to be, but would I take Ryan Spooner out there over Jimmy Hayes? 100 times out of 100 times.
You know what? We're in the playoffs. Do we really have to mention Jimmy Hayes? I mean, we feel good. It's a victory. Jason, we don't need to talk about Jimmy Hayes.
Gotta bring his name in there somewhere.
The other guy he had a couple of shots at the end of the game there that needs to step up. I'm actually wearing his shirt right now. If anyone can see that. And my big fat butt. But is Backes. I love Backes. I loved him in Team USA. I love him with St. Louis. Great player. If you remember the video when St. Louis lost to San Jose, you see the emotion in Backes talking about Ott and all that stuff, even though Ott's a complete tool bag. But he needs to step it up. They need him banging. They need him, mucking up in the front. They need him, helping to lead this team because he needs to step it up for them. I think to go, anywhere in the playoffs. I think Backes needs to play a role, so we need him to step it up big time.
Okay, I listened to a lot of Felger and Maz today because a lot of Felger and Maz was Bruins talk today. And Felger and Maz brought up a lot of decent points on that standpoint. People like Backes and Bolesky, they have that deep playoff experience. So they need to play like they had that deep playoff experience. Backes towards the end of the game was getting mixed up in it, but in the beginning of the game you barely noticed him.
Oh, yeah, he's just, I think, God, he's ended up, Felger was right. He looks really slow. And
Backes is a shell of what he was a couple of years ago. That's what they say about the power forward position.
He just, for the new style NHL, he just can't keep up. And plus, so that I just hope that, he just he turns it up, gets a couple big goals for him in the series because that contract will look very, very bad.
Keep going, Joe.
Okay. Bolesky looked okay. He had that deflection. Went on Anderson. He was decent. He wasn't great, but he's like you said. He had that big run, but he was also with Corey Perry and Getzlaf. So he wasn't.
Again, I'm assuming you must have watched Felger and Maz today because they brought up that point today too.
Oh, actually, I didn't, but because we're all brilliant, that's why. But Fred Toucher on 98.5 in the morning, Toucher and Rich, has been given the business to Vetrano, and I actually tweeted Fred Toucher, said Vetrano heard you. So that was a beautiful snipe, and that's exactly what they needed. He's got to pitch in. Backes has to pitch in. Bolesky get a goal here or there. That third and fourth line. I think the fourth line, even though it should be the third line, with more. But that they need more scoring from their other lines because they can't have just the first line do it all the time.
And here's the thing, and this is what we recognize about playoff hockey. The Boston Bruins still have a lot of players with a lot of playoff experience. So this series, seeing how the Bruins took advantage in Game 1, the Bruins have the ability to wear down Ottawa throughout the series. I don't think Ottawa can play that defense that they're playing and do nothing and win the series. I think the Boston's toughness will eventually get to Ottawa.
If you look at Ottawa, who really scares you in Ottawa? Maybe Bobby Ryan, maybe Carlson. Who else? I don't know.
That's about it. And Carlson's not even 100%.
It's not the Capitals who are absolutely stacked to the ceiling, with talent. So if they need, I don't even think Ottawa played that trap in the first two periods at all. It was like run and gun, pretty much. And then they tried to do it in the third, and it kind of bit them in the rear end. I think the Bruins just keep bringing it. They need to put up 60 minutes. We can't have any more of those second periods. That second period was probably one of the worst of the season. So Tuukka kept him in it, thank God. Even the goal Tuukka let up, he did everything possible to friggin' make that save. So this is probably one of Tuukka's best games of the season by far.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit back here and harp on Rask for one goal. I'm good. Not with the saves I watched him make. Not with those breakaway saves. Not with the back-to-back saves. He put himself out of this game. So Rask, I'm not worried about in the slightest. Now, give me an in-depth of what you really thought of McAvoy in this first game with the Bruins. His first ever game. Just
going back quickly to Rask, I'll jump to McAvoy. Ryan Richard, who's in our Facebook live chat, who was the biggest Tuukka Rask detractor, stepped up to the podium and gave Tuukka Rask credit. So the haters are noticing well now because now it's the playoff time. So, of course, if the Bruins lose the next four, they're going to blame them anyway. But McAvoy. I believe McAvoy was very poised, very calm and cool and collective. I thought he had good quarterbacking skills on the power play. And, I think he held his own when it was 5-on-5. I think they could have given him a little more ice time because, like I said, McAvoy kind of scares the crap out of me. So I think McAvoy definitely stepped up. I see him not leaving the lineup regardless at all. I mean, I think if Carlo and crew come back, that means, like, how can you take McAvoy out? You may have McAvoy over Carlo, to be honest with you. Because
you would have McAvoy over Lyles.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Lyles. I forget about that waste of space that we gave away. I don't know how many draft
Or if
picks last
Miller's
year.
injured, you have McAvoy over Miller. The Bruins still have options in there.
True, right, with Lyles.
But if McAvoy plays with that same kind of poise, you absolutely have to keep McAvoy in the lineup. Let him keep getting that experience, especially because he's your future. What I was impressed by was his ability to carry the puck up the ice and make those passes and be intelligent with the plays that he made.
Jason, I'll tell you right now, you're dominating tonight on this podcast. You're doing very well. I'm just telling you, dominating.
Thank you.
Because Mike comes in, mucks it up. Everybody gets scared because Mike gets angry. Look at you. You just come in like, you cool the other side of the pillow, my friend. Good job.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm liking what I like the grit that they came back and that, they didn't, everybody was, when they didn't get the Capitals and they got the Senators, everybody's like, well, they haven't beat the Senators all year. Playoff hockey is completely different than regular season hockey. Whole completely different thing. Okay. Plus now you're seeing the same team over and over and over again. You're going to see tendencies. You're going to see faults. You're going to see ways, chinks in the armor. You're going to find all that stuff. You're not playing a different team every night. So it's going to be a little different tonight. They can't let the Ottawa get up on them like they did tonight, though. They need to get the first goal because then Ottawa's out of their comfort zone big time. So,
hey, Joe, do you want to know how many minutes McAvoy actually played in tonight's game? Do you have any guesses?
I'm going to guess 15.
No, much higher than that. Add 9. 24 minutes, 11 seconds.
Tonight?
24 minutes, 11 seconds, 29 shifts with a +1.
Holy crap, really? He played that much? Did it not seem that much? It didn't seem, maybe, usually if you're not making any mistakes, they don't mention you, so maybe that he was just doing the right thing.
So he was on the ice for one of those Bruins goals.
Oh, that's stud. That's a stud. 24 minutes, holy crap. I didn't know that. Wow. Did you think it was that long?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. During the third period, I was off getting ready for the podcast, off and on in between commercials.
Yeah.
But I got that feeling in the first period when he was second behind Chara with minutes that he was going to get a decent game in tonight, especially when he was started on the ice in that very first shift. Cassidy was showing a lot of confidence in his new young player, and obviously whatever McAvoy showed in Providence those first couple of games has translated on the ice in that game. You don't see too many NHL players, especially rookies, coming to the NHL in a playoff game and play that intelligent and that smart and have that much poise. And this is a good sign for the Boston Bruins. He's almost a much better version than Dougie Hamilton at his age.
Oh, I think he's probably better than Hamilton is. But you got to look at what McAvoy. He comes from a powerhouse at BU. They say like in football, the SEC is like pro. I mean, I think Hockey East is probably as close as you can get to pro in the collegiate levels. It's BC, BU, Northeast, and UMass Lowell right now. UNH, Maine. I mean, it's loaded. Merrimack, kinda, maybe not really. And then he played in the World Juniors and dominated. So he's battle tested, not in the NHL level. But, well, actually, no, he is now because he just got his first game under his belt and wearing Michael Ryder's old number, which is got some good luck in the playoffs for the Bruins. So I don't know. I'm excited, man. That was a big win tonight. I mean, granted, if they lost, probably would have felt a little differently. But this is a winnable series. This is a very winnable series. Ottawa is not that good. Ottawa, if they get up, they're in the comfort zone. They just fall back. But I think if the Bruins can get up, if the Bruins win, I think tomorrow, Saturday afternoon, I think. I
don't see this series being a sweep. I see this series going 5 or 6. But it's going to be a toughness series, and that's what makes it interesting. And before we go further into our next segment, I'm going to literally pause the show and play the clip of Frank Vatrano scoring. So everybody just listen, and if you guys didn't get a chance to hear this, or out during the game, you're going to get a chance to hear it from Jack Edwards' view.
Moore tries to twirl it in front. Borowiecki off glass, the plate. Seals it off. Vatrano. Shot scores! Frank Vatrano!
How's that for you, Joe?
It works for me. And Montreal lost tonight. So, that double good. And
Ooh, yeah, we haven't even had a chance to talk into the hockey games. We'll do that later in the show. I definitely want to do that.
One thing I want to mention, though, is that I do know a lot of tendencies from Ottawa now that they may become Montreal West because they're doing a little bit of diving in there. That wasn't really their forte.
The Pasternak penalty I thought was a crap call.
Yeah, the one, I guess there was a little bit of embellishment on the one that was called a Marshall, but Marshall did kind of hit the skate from out from the guy underneath the guy. Marchand's got to stop the garbage. Just stop, because we need him. We need him, as you could see tonight. He's got to stop the garbage. He cannot afford to do that. You know what I mean?
If Marchand scores a game-winning goal in Game 1, I can deal with that penalty for that game.
No. But the thing is, Jason, as you know, sometimes he lets it get the best of him. He can't get suspended for play. I mean, they just can't lose him because they don't have enough offense. You know what I mean?
No, it's true. He definitely can't get suspended. He's got to play smart, but you have to have that feistiness. In this series, you're gonna see it. The refs are going to let these teams play. You saw it from the moment the puck dropped. You could hear it in Jack Edwards' voice. The refs are gonna let these teams play. And this is going to make for an exciting series. I mean, everybody's been sitting here predicting this series is going to be boring. Ottawa's going to suck the life out of it. And the Boston Bruins came into this game with a fire, even though they had that bad second period, which they have to correct, and I'm sure Cassidy will correct. I am about as shocked as it gets for the Bruins having such a young team. I mean, they've literally started like eight different new players on this roster that are like rookies. Or that's how it feels with the team that's in the NHL right now.
Hey, Jason, let me know if if you want to wrap up about the game. I don't know if you read the Players Tribune that Patrice Bergeron wrote today. Did you see that today?
I did not. You want to explain that one to me?
Oh, dude, it is by far like as close to hockey porn as you can get. So if anyone has not read it, please go to Players Tribune, thePlayersTribune.com, and you see Patrice Bergeron. He's talking about back where we belong, about not making the playoffs. He talks about how Mark Recchi, when he came to the team, he was having kidney stones, but he played the whole game. Berge also talked about how he played the 13 Cup final completely decimated by injuries, but he kept playing. And he said there's no pain worse than not making the playoffs. I mean, it was just it couldn't get any better. And he also talked about Marchand, about not chirping him because you will lose. And he had a line. Let me read you. God, it's such a good read, Jace. You got to check it out.
Bring out that article, Joe. This can be something that we can discuss. Absolutely.
So this is absolutely great. I'm going to put it in the chat room for folks if you haven't read it. This is like phenomenal. So he also talked about Marshy, and he said Marshy's one of the best guys, and he said he said Marchand would go up to other players, the young players on the other team, and say to them, glad you could make it, try, soak it in, enjoy it, just like Marchand came up, right? No one had any expectations for him, and look what he's become.
When Marchand first came up, and I have these memories so clear still, I believe it was back in 2010, 2009, I went to a Bruins Predators game, and that's when Marchand really started standing out to me. To me, he was just this young player, and now it would have been 7 years now. Wow, time flies. It's incredible. Yeah. I would have never predicted that.
No, I mean, you got to remember, too, that, they were having problems with him when he was with the slew footing and all that stuff with the guy from Vancouver, what he did to him.
That was fun, though. As much as he was young and it was crazy and insane, yes, those rules changed all after that, but it was fun to see them go after Vancouver.
Oh, that game, I know. I hate Vancouver like hot fire. But just one quick more thing about the article. This is what Bergeron said. I'll just put it this way. If you ever seats along the glass of one of our games, listen closely for a show and prepare to put earmuffs on the kids. So this is probably one of the, you got to read the article. It's such a good article, and it just tells you what kind of guy Bergeron is. It's just amazing. So he's talking about coming to Boston, not speaking English, staying with Martin Lapointe. He was talking about when he came to the league, like Felix Potvin, if you remember
Martin
him.
Lapointe, like the Martin Lapointe that used to play in the Detroit Red Wings, Martin Lapointe.
Marty Lapointe, yeah, he stayed with Marty Lapointe. He actually, roomed with him, like something that they always talked about Sagan should have done when he came here, should have been with a veteran. Bergeron did, and Martin Lapointe, who's also, I'm pretty sure, French-Canadian as well, helped him through it, helped through the transition, all that stuff. And they also had Felix, Potvin as a goalie, if you remember that, for a short stint, Felix the Cat. So, but it was just a great article. And he also talked about it was really hard to see Claude go, and he says, he felt it was their, responsibility. He got fired, and that, he really liked how the team reacted and kind of, bounced back at the end of the year. So it's a really good read, great read, phenomenal. Just
written too. Bergeron's article makes sense because Bergeron's one of those players who's played with passion his entire career.
Oh, God.
You can't place the Bruins missing 2 straight playoffs on Patrice Bergeron. Not in the slightest. For Bergeron, I'm sure he was livid from the very start. I'm sure they've gone through their frustrations. I'm sure the frustrations let out this year when the Bruins fired Cole. But, man, did they turn it up when they needed to most. And they still got lucky courtesy of Marchand. Thank you, Marchand. We still got lucky in spite of you.
Yeah, but like I said, Bergie is just a champion. I was at, I think, the first playoff series he played against Montreal, and he scored an OT to win the game. And I remember jumping in my buddy's arms. It was amazing. But I have a Stanley Cup, a photo of him holding up the cup. I got autographed. I met Patrice Bergeron, nicest guy in the world too. So, anyway, what would you like to transition to next? So, do you want to do our outlook on the rest of the series? Do you want to just talk about how the end of the season? You know what? I don't even want to talk about the end of the season. We're in the playoffs now. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what, Joe? I like that idea. We're 20 minutes into the show. We're going to do a 40-minute show tonight. Let's transition into what's going to be our outlook for the rest of the series. What do you think is going to happen? How do you think this thing is going to play out?
Well, like I said,
not just score and all that, but the way the players are going to play. Which players do you think are going to step up?
For sure. I think we did what we had to do already. We won a game up there. So, if they come back when both at home, take care of business at home, I mean, they're up 3-1. So what we need to do, as I mentioned before, we need to if anyone remembers, Nesson or Channel 38 Keys to the Game, Derek Sanderson used to have his keys to the game, and one of them when they played the Hartford Whalers back in the day, Game 7, score more goals than the Whalers. So here's the keys to the game for me, Bob Bruin. You cannot let up the first goal. There's no letting up the first goal at all, okay? Marchand cannot get goaded into these crappy, stupid penalties. They can't give Otto. Otto has a terrible power play. So, it might not cost him, but I think down the line you can only, avoid the fire, so many times. Keep playing Charlie. Keep playing the kid. He looks, God, beyond his years, way beyond his years. I'm watching right now on Nesson. He looks like he's 12 years old. I remember when they drafted him, I go, who's this 11-year-old kid they drafted? But he got great poise and all that stuff. So, and then it's all about Tuukka too. If Tuukka keeps playing like this, no one's beating him. No one's going to beat him. So, I mean, what are your keys? What are your top 3 keys?
My top 3 keys, my number 1 is the Bruins stepping up and getting past that 1-3-1. It's their offensive play and continuing to try to get to Anderson, get that puck past Anderson. You want to figure out what Anderson's weaknesses are, and as soon as possible. I mean, really, Anderson's played well against the Bruins this season, giving up 2 or less goals almost every single game. The Bruins had a great game tonight, so my first key is getting that offense together. My second key is that defense trying to get healthy. And Krejci getting healthy in this series. Because you need to have all hands on deck. Especially as Ottawa's getting healthier.
How important do you think Krug is? Because they mentioned this a lot about the transition game, that he needs to really be there because it cost him. I didn't see it tonight.
With the play of Charlie McAvoy, I will say, I did not see it tonight. But that's a testament to how well Charlie McAvoy actually played.
Yeah.
That's a compliment to a kid who's younger than me.
And I know, he's way younger than me because I'm really old.
I believe he's only 19 years old.
I know. Could be my kid. How messed up is that? Oh, God.
Right?
Yeah, not right. That's terrible.
And then my third key, and you said it correctly, it's Tuukka Rask. If he keeps playing with that fire that he played with tonight, doesn't matter how this series ends, whether the Bruins win or lose, if this team plays with that fire and Tuukka Rask plays with that fire, I'm not going to say much. I loved what I saw tonight. I saw a team that came in and fought. I mean...
They did. I even said it, Oh, Mike just joined. I think Mike should be getting on this podcast with us.
Hey, Mike, if you're listening, jump on while you get a chance.
Yeah, Mike, come on, Mike. You're in the chat room. I think Mike's just ashamed that his computer is run by a hamster wheel. With his 1970s
Type
computer.
in your chat room. Tell Mike to get his butt on here.
Yeah, here's Bob Haskell. He's asking what the Rask haters are. Well, the Rask haters aren't here until they lose. I mean, that's how they do. You want to go around the league right now and just look at what has happened?
Sorry, Joe. That's my phone.
Okay. Do you want to just look around and see what's happened? We see the Canadiens lost tonight at home to the Rangers, which isn't very nice. Typical clog game, very low scoring, and they couldn't pull it out. You got the Penguins basically lambasting the Jackets. I think the Blue Jackets lost 8 of the last 9. So I don't think they're going to pose much of a threat to the Penguins at all, to be honest with you. What do you think about those series so far?
Are you talking to me or your fans?
No, I'm talking. You're my fan. You're my bro. You're my fan. I'm talking to you.
I was distracted because I was in your page trying to convince Mike to come on.
You know what? We can't make him be. We can't make him be great. He needs to be great. He needs to want to be great.
He's too funny. Mike, we're gonna have a good show next week with you on. We miss your anger, but man, am I on fire tonight?
Yeah, his anger. He's angry tonight. But yeah, go ahead.
I will say I watched Belgrade and Mavs today. They did this really cool segment. They did like a draft of their top 10 players in this series specifically.
Oh, really?
So I want to ask you that, Joe. Who are your top 5 players in this series?
Well, like outside of the 3 guys on Ottawa that I know, I don't know anyone else really. Well, Craig Anderson, of course, is going to be very important. Carlson, I mean, that's
top to bottom. List me 1 through 5.
Oh, you're killing me, bro. Jeez. God. All right. Either team.
Either team. It says as if you were drafting for the Vegas Golden Knights. Think of it that way.
Okay. Well, I'm going to rank in importance, of course. I mean, number 1 is Bergeron. I think he needs to. Tuukka Rask. I'm sorry. Tuukka Rask has to be 1 by far. Are you talking about if I actually drafted the guys from this team to build a team? Is that what you're really talking about? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. 5 guys I draft from these 2 teams.
Yep.
I draft Bergie, of course. I draft McAvoy because he has the most upside, if you will. Carlson, Marchand, of course, and I got 1 more left. It'll be Rask.
All right, and I'm going to give you mine, and I'm going to give you what Felger and Maz's were in a similar order. My number 1 would be Tuukka Rask, one of the best players on the team at the moment, one of the best games he played. My number 2, and although he's not 100%, I am going to say it because he is probably going to get Norris this year. I'm going to have to go Erik Karlsson.
No, I mean, he's good. I mean, there's no denying that.
He's a difference maker. I mean, you saw him pull away from Dominic Moore tonight on some of those plays. He definitely made a difference. My number 3 is Marchand. My number 4 is Bergeron. And my number 5 is Craig Anderson.
That's a good list. Craig Anderson is good. I just want to do a quick shout out from our chat room. I think we have someone from Ireland actually following us. I think his name is Sean O'Malley, and he's watching the game. It's 3 a.m, I believe, in Ireland right now. He's waking everybody up, but he does not care. So that's pretty awesome. Getting fans from all around the world. Download this podcast. It's pretty damn awesome. Bruins Beat on CLNS Radio. Jason, like I said, I'm kind of very happy. I mean, after the second period, was not happy. After the third, I'm very happy. Seattle is gone. Like I said, Montreal has lost tonight. Penguins are, winning. I think if Montreal goes now, I don't know if the Bruins win the series and Montreal loses. Who do we get? I don't know.
I hope the Penguins win and we get the Penguins because that's our matchup game.
Right, and then do they get reseeded after? I thought they stay in the division. I'm so confused.
I'm pretty sure they stay in the division, but if Montreal's gone.
Yeah, and
Ottawa's gone.
Do they play the Leafs? I don't know. They change this stuff up so much. If anyone in the chat room knows, I get confused. I don't.
Yeah, somebody who has a bracket in the draft room, go ahead and let us know what the bracket is.
Yeah, let us know. No, reseeded. Oh, they get reseeded. Okay. Oh, no reseeded. Okay, we get the Rangers. Maybe we would get the Rangers. Okay,
that's a decent game.
Wild card. Wait. We get the Rangers wild card versus wild card. That doesn't make sense. No, with crazy. 3. I'm sorry, with 3. You're right. With 3. That's right. No, you're right. Sorry, I forgot. The last game of the season pretty much made that difference. So I guess we play the Rangers or Montreal. Okay, good to know.
Also, to answer your question, I messaged on Mark's page who the defenseman would be for Colin Miller. The name Alex Grant came up from Providence.
Don't know who he is.
Don't know who he is myself, but I've heard his name come up a couple of times.
Yeah.
Also, because I'm just going to make this announcement because it's a special day in Boston today at the moment. Sure. The Boston Celtics just clinched the number 1 seed in the East.
Well, I mean, welcome to Title Town. Doesn't suck living here at all, let me tell you. The one thing, let me do a little gripe here about Nesson, okay? I don't know if you guys, I can't stand Nesson. Like, their polls and all that, I just think they're the dumbest thing of all time. When they do their check-ins with the Red Sox, no one cares about Game 11 right now. And if they did, they'd be watching the Red Sox. So let's not do that between period. Let's talk to them. We don't care. Sorry, I don't like baseball. I'm sorry.
I'm with you on that one, Joe. I'm not going to fight that one.
I cannot stand that. NESN is so hokey. Their website's full of advertisements. Just don't pull my service until after the playoffs. But I still can't handle Jack. I'm sorry. I wish I could listen to Ghosh and Bob Beers. I don't know how you feel about that, but Jack's too much for me. I'm getting old.
I like Jack. Jack made me a fan of hockey, so his excitement, his craziness, it kind of meshes with my personality.
See, you're too young. You're too young. I know a lot of people in the chat room probably know.
But I'm not going to deny, I like listening to Ghost and Beers too. So on the nights that I don't get to listen to Jack, I usually try to tune in to Ghost and Beers, especially if it's a late game and I try to go to sleep before work.
But no one beats Fred Cusick and Johnny Pearson, and then Fred Cusick and Derek Sanderson. They were the best. They don't get any better than those two guys.
I was too young for that. I can't say anything. Not my generation.
Seriously, I don't know if you watch any of the old YouTube videos, Jason, or any of the fights, just hearing Fred Cusick. It just, God, it was just heaven. It was absolutely heaven. I like Brick. I like Andy Brickley. I liked him as a player. I like him as a color guy. Jack. I can't deal.
Well, Joe, we're 32 minutes into our show. I want to know if you want to transition. I have this cool idea in my head to do a prediction of the rest of the series in the NHL and which teams we think are going to move on to the next round.
All right, so we're going to look at brackets here. Okay, so you're looking at brackets. Where's my bracket?
I'm only focusing on round one, though.
Round one. Okay, let's look at it. Okay, round one. Rangers, Canadians. Now that the Rangers already won a game up there, I know the Rangers were struggling at the end. I think I like the Rangers in 6. I just don't think Claude's Claude. He plays the same way. I see the Bruins winning in 6. I think the Penguins are going to sweep the Blue Jackets. I see the Wild beating the Blues. I think that's going to go 7. I think the Oilers. I think this might be the year to like kind of go pretty far. I see them beating Sharks in 6. I see the Leafs and Caps going 6. Believe it or not, I think the Leafs have a lot of good speed. Blackhawks. I see a sweep.
Who do you see winning that series? Capitals, though?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Capitals 4 games to 2. I see the Blackhawks sweeping. I see the Flames beating the Ducks. I don't know if you read the article about the beer drinking with the Calgary Flames. Like, the coach didn't want them to drink beers. Then he let them drink beers, and after they drank beers, they turned their season around in the locker room. I don't know. So if you can get hammered and win, that works. So those are my predictions for the series. I think in the Cup final, if we want to go that far, we can talk as we go. I did a bracket. I don't know why, because I'm such a homer. I put the Bruins and the Blackhawks, which I don't see that happening. But I think the Blackhawks are going to be there. I think the Capitals might finally be their year. It has to, right? Jesus, how many times are they going to choke? How many times?
No, I mean that's the thing. How many times is Ovechkin going to choke on that team with the roster that they have?
Oh, plenty, because he's done it.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. It's a truthful way of looking at it. So, my prediction, I'm going to go with the, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm going to go with the Wild over the Blues. I'm going to give it 6 games. And I'm going to call an upset for the Predators-Blackhawks series. Because I think the Predators with PK Subban have a better defense.
Hey, blow. No. Come on.
And based on the way the Blackhawks played against the Bruins not that long ago, it is the playoffs. It's a different species. Joe Quenneville has a lot of experience with the Blackhawks, but I could see the Predators with Pekka Rinne, if he's at his best, getting past the Blackhawks in 6.
Oh, wow, that's impressive.
And I've made some crazy predictions and ended up right. I'm probably going to end up wrong, but who knows, I could end up right for the team.
You're a crazy individual.
My other prediction, and I liked your pick of the Oilers, not saying I'm going to agree with it, because I still think that the Sharks have 1 year of firepower left in them to try to get back to the finals.
Joe's not going to win anything ever.
I don't think he's going to win it, but I do see the Sharks getting past the Oilers just because the Oilers are new to the playoffs, although they're under Peter Chiarelli. Don't get me wrong, I am personally just rooting for the Oilers to lose because of that alone. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to pick the Sharks in 7. I'm going to take the Ducks over the Flames pretty much because of, again, playoff experience and goaltending. I'm going to give the goaltending edge to the Ducks in 6.
All right.
I'm going to give the Bruins in 6. Goaltending edge again.
Yep.
And although the Rangers won Game 1, the Canadiens had one of the best seasons, were the best in the division. The Metropolitan's a good division.
Very good.
You got Carey Price against Henrik Lundqvist, and I can't see the Canadiens' offense being shut down for long, but they did struggle during the season. They struggled against the Bruins. The Rangers do have a halfway decent roster.
Yeah.
I'm going to still go the Canadiens in 7.
Very good. So who you like in the cup?
And I still got two more to go.
Oh, sorry, my friend.
I got the I'm gonna go with the Penguins in 6. Marc-Andre Fleury played tonight, which should speak for itself. With Murray being injured during warm-ups. Marc-Andre Fleury played, and they shut down the Blue Jackets. I could see the Penguins winning in 5. Again, playoff experience, and Tortorella's got a different play style. The Blue Jackets played great this year, but the Penguins have more playoff experience. And the Capitals, I think, are the obvious. The Capitals are going to beat the Leafs in 5 games.
Okay.
And for the Stanley Cup, I'm going to go, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm going to go with the Capitals against the Predators.
Oof.
And I'm going to take the Capitals winning it.
Wow, Ovechkin finally gets his. Good predictions.
And then again, me being the Bruins fan, I hope I'm completely wrong, and the realistic side of me hopes the Bruins are going to win.
Yeah, I picked the Bruins because I'm just
that fan person.
Oh, we're homers. Come on. But I think we're gonna. I guess we're almost at the 40-minute mark. I think we're gonna wrap up after a great victory tonight by the Boston.
We're
Bruins.
gonna wrap up. I'm gonna wrap up in the new fashion tonight, since I like playing with my phone. Joe, we're going to stay silent for about 1 minute, and I'm going to play one more clip.
Okay, go ahead.
Enjoy that, fans, while you can. That was a heck of a goal by Brad Marchand.
Makes you moist. Makes you feel moist in the loins, my friend.
It makes you excited. It was a great game for the Bruins. I prepped so much for the show for the beginning. I didn't actually think of the conclusion. So I'm going to try to piece together the conclusion as I go, since I've been on fire.
We're on fire tonight. And Fuego.
You can find us on Boston Bruins Podcast on iTunes. If you like our show, we ask that you leave us a rate and a comment on our page, because it helps build us notoriety and it gets the show around the area. Also, Joe, what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is BigBadBruins88, and you also know on Facebook you can find me at BigBadBruins1997.
And I believe Mike is MikeSetter91, or am I wrong?
He's not here. Who cares?
Okay, yeah, screw Mike today.
He's working on his computer. He's building out of Tinker Toys and bubble gum and tape.
Right. And I'm Jason Buckley 91.
We're awesome.
You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on the CLNS radio app online. And we thank everyone who listened on Joe's page live tonight.
Hells yeah.
It was fun doing the show tonight after the Bruins game. We will have our host Mike back, and hopefully maybe a special guest next week if I can work the magic. We were going to have a special guest on this week, but I had to work yesterday.
And I want to applaud Jason Buckley. You did a kick-ass job, my friend.
Thank you. When I first started, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a story before we conclude. When I first started and had the opportunity to do the show and host, I used to get really nervous. So doing the show tonight, I actually felt really good. So thank you for those of you. If you have comments on that, feel free to message me on my Twitter and help me out.
Question is, how do you feel nervous when you're the ladies' man?
That's the thing, because I can't actually. It's a difference. I kind of, you put me on the spot, I feel the pressure. But it takes practice too. Mike's a natural host. I came on this from the fly and had to learn on the fly.
I know it's a little different when doing a podcast or you're giving back rubs with oils for the ladies and drinking kvass. I understand.
I think this will make the ladies happy today, seeing I got to host the show.
Dropping those rose petals, you know how it is. Making
you know
love.
it.
But hey, speaking of making love, the Bruins made love to us tonight, and it was beautiful. So tune in. We're going to be, as Jason said, hopefully have a special guest, and hopefully we'll be back. The Bruins will be up 2-0. Have a good night.
More than 2-0. Hopefully they'll be up 3-1 or something like that. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's true because they're playing Monday night as well. So maybe we'll get on Tuesday night probably. So hopefully they'll be up 3-0.
That's what I'm aiming for. I know I have Tuesday night off from work. Just got to check with Mike.
So probably Tuesday night might happen. So go Bruins and let's get a 3-0 lead.
Absolutely. Thank you to the Bruins fans who listen to the show tonight. I thank you very much. Go Bruins.